This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Shanta. Shanta is an entertainer, but she also loves to be entertained, which is why she has Flow TV brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It's great for busy Shanta because she can control the time she watches her favorite shows, play back from the start in case she missed it, or even record with cloud video recording. And with her Flow services bundle, enjoys much more for much less. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today afternoon news update for Monday, April 25th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Williams. Our top story, the mother of deceased 6-year-old Jahan King, Lasonta Gill, and her partner, Dwayne Marshall, are appearing in court today charged with manslaughter in connection with the child's death. Jahan died on June 29th last year after being taken to hospital in an ambulance. His grandmother, Margaret Gill, has been calling for justice for Jahan, saying the child was abused. But in an earlier interview with Barbados Today, his mother denied the claims of abuse, saying he suffered an asthma attack before he died. A criminal investigation into his death was launched in August. The head of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Mary Redman, is defending the union's calls for the expulsion of the Ellerslie student who is accused of attacking a female teacher recently. The student has since been suspended. The matter was discussed at a meeting of the union's membership on Friday. The calls have been criticized by government ministers, including Education Minister Ronald Jones and Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite. They say an investigation must be conducted before such action is considered. But Redmond told Barbados Today the union has the support of the National Council of Parent-Teachers Associations.
We have spoken with Mr. Jahan King. We have consulted with him. And as a matter of fact, it is after our consultation with him and after his own investigation that the NCPTA has taken the position that they have taken to back us in the recommendation for expulsion. Not only that, Mr. Gibbs was a specially invited guest at our mass meeting on Friday. He was there along with the first vice president and she addressed our members.
Water Resources Minister David Estwick is promising residents affected by water shortages that they should get some relief by next month. The ongoing drought has left several communities in the north, west and central parts of the island with a shortage of the commodity for the past months. But Dr. Estwick told a monthly meeting of his St. Philip West constituency yesterday that the Barbados Water Authority is working on some technical issues before households can have a steady supply of water once again.
So therefore we would expect that in a matter of within a week to 2 weeks, we should have that distribution from Castle Grant directly from Sweetville into Castle Grant, sorted out so that the residents in St. Joseph and parts of St. Thomas and St. Andrew, and also I think some of that goes into St. Peter as well. In addition to that, I am continuing with the Northern Upgrade Project. You can't upgrade a distribution system unless you have increased water to put it in. So the plan is, and I've already given permission to the board, to ask that the desal plant that's already existing carry itself to maximum capacity. And I've asked for Williams Industries to expand the present desal plant output by as much as 3 million gallons.
Estwick also disclosed that 2 emergency water storage package plants will soon arrive at the Bridgetown port. That's as a result of the forced shutdown of 5 pumping stations in the west of the island, which were affected by low water levels. He added that a contractor will build permanent plants in the Hope and Mullins Bay areas. Government is spending almost $1 million per year in administering vaccinations for 14 types of health conditions. Health Minister John Boyce made the disclosure in an address at the Christchurch Parish Church yesterday to mark the start of Vaccination Week. Boyce also gave the details of the island's vaccination program.
Smallpox, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, and polio were the first group of vaccines administered in Barbados prior to the implementation of the expanded program of immunization. In 1979, measles was included in the routine immunization schedule, with mumps and rubella being added in 1983. By the year 2008, Barbados had introduced 4 new vaccines protecting children against hepatitis, pneumonia, and adults against yellow fever and influenza. In 2016, Barbados has a total of 14 antigens against vaccine-preventable diseases in its routine immunization schedule. The HPV vaccine was the last to be introduced 2 years ago for protection against cervical cancer in women and other genital cancers in both women and men. For the past few years, the government of Barbados has allocated over $875,000 annually to the purchase of vaccines for its citizens through the Pan American Health Organization Revolving Fund.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
In news from the region, Trinidad's minority opposition, the Movement for Social Justice, is condemning the Finance Minister, Combe Imbert's decision to seek advice on fiscal policy from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. We get the details from TV6 News in Port of Spain.
MSJ's leader David Abdullah lashed out at Mr. Imbert, saying that 2 weeks ago during his midterm budget review presentation, the minister said nothing about seeking advice from either organization. He said Imbert gave the impression that he was on top of everything and that the government was in charge.
This is an amazing indication of the abject failure of the Minister of Finance and speaks to the lack of proper transparency and accountability. So he wasted 6 months, did nothing with respect to consultation or discussion with the national community, made no attempt to arrive at any consensus on the way forward.
Abdullah criticized Mr. Imbert of flawed thinking, saying that the World Bank and the IMF will not necessarily offer superior advice to local stakeholders. He said the minister ought to explain to the country the motives behind such a decision.
What the minister has in fact done is to frustrate a process of a homegrown approach to the adjustments that have to be made given the country's loss of revenue from oil and gas.
At Thursday's post-cabinet news briefing, the finance minister announced that World Bank officials are in the country to assist and advise the government. Several economists, including Dr. Ralph Henry and former minister in the Ministry of Finance, Mariano Brown, have criticized the move as well.
On the international scene, U.S. President Barack Obama has been defending the controversial new U.S.-EU trade deal. Tens of thousands of people in Hanover, Germany have been protesting against the transatlantic trade and investment partnership. Obama says the agreement will increase jobs and growth, but opponents say it is undemocratic and will bring down wages. More in this BBC report.
It's one of the warmest political relationships in the world. Two leaders with much to discuss. But first, full military honours. After all, this is likely to be the American president's last official visit to Germany. And Mr. Obama is looking to his legacy. He wants to secure the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, or TTIP. But the Germans are putting up a fight. Tens of thousands of people protested in Hanover yesterday. They feared job losses, falling standards, environmental damage. TTIP is deeply unpopular here. Even Mr. Obama admits it'll be hard to seal the deal by the end of his term.
As you see other markets like China beginning to develop, and Asia beginning to develop, and Africa growing fast, we've got to make sure that our businesses can compete there, because at least in the United States, 95% of the world's markets are outside of our borders.
But this visit is also about security. Bilateral talks today on Syria, the Ukraine, Libya, and tomorrow Mr. Obama and Mrs. Merkel meet the French, Italian and British leaders. In the German Chancellor's words, these are turbulent times.
And finally, Saudi Arabia today announced plans to end the kingdom's dependence on oil and transform it into a global investment power. The Deputy Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, says Riyadh would raise the capital of its public investment fund to $2 trillion, up from $160 billion. There are also plans to sell up to 5% of shares in the state oil company. Economists and political analysts had regarded the country's fiscal policy and economic structure as unsustainable even before oil prices started to fall in 2014. But reduced income from energy sales has made reform even more urgent. And that's the afternoon news. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. We're also on Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook for more news and sports. I am Mary Williams. Have a good afternoon.